This presentation will outline some system troubleshooting techniques and the use of the diagnostic features of the PROTEUS controller. The main menu will allow you to navigate to the PROTEUS diagnostic functions through the Utilities sub-menu. Press on the Utilities button. Press on the Diagnostics button. The Diagnostics sub-menu will appear. The Diagnostics page is divided into 3 sections: Troubleshooting, System, and Display. For each section described, you may need to press the Home button, Utilities button, and then Diagnostics button to return you to the Diagnostics sub-menu. Let's look at these functions. Pressing the View PROTEUS diagnostic button will bring you to the following page. For wired probes, it displays the probe connectivity with the PROTEUS controller. All 2s indicates a probe is functioning normally. For wireless probes, it displays the wireless transmissions on datastick transmitters associated with this system, showing the time from last transmission, TFLT, and the total number of counts the controller has received from that transmitter. In some cases, both wired and wireless probes can be used in a single controller. Using the up and down arrows will display the next set of probes. Press the Home button to return to the main menu. Pressing the View Probes Temperature Thermistors button will bring you to the following page. This screen allows the user to view raw temperature data as the PROTEUS controller receives it from the MTG probe. If there is a drastic difference in any of the temperature readings, it is most likely a faulty thermistor in the probe and could lead to misreported product temperatures in a tank. A misreported product temperature could lead to a failed VLD or CITLD test. Using the up and down arrows will display the next set of probes. Press the Home button to return to the main menu. Demo mode is used to simulate various probe and sensor conditions that will activate the associated alarms. This is accomplished without the need of raising floats or dunking sensors. All alarms in demo mode are logged as actual alarms and will appear on alarm reports. If the alarm auto print is enabled, alarms will be printed out during the test process. Warning: if programmed alarm events control pumps or other devices, the simulated alarm will cause those devices to activate or deactivate based on programming. Careful assessment of the actions demo mode will simulate must be reviewed prior to its use. To simulate probe alarms, select the Demo Mode Level Change button. You will get directed to your first active tank. You should see that the tank indicator is normal and the status line has changed to normal demo mode. You can change the tank to test by using the up and down arrows below the menu button. You will also see the demo mode options in the blue shaded area. These options are demo mode off, up and down arrows, and the test function you are set on. Pressing on the test functions will change from product level to water level and to temperature. For this presentation, we will use product level, but water and temperature functions work in a similar fashion. Pressing the up or down arrow will simulate an increase or decrease in the function you are testing. Note: probes have both warning and alarm points. Warnings are not normally set to trigger remote alarms, but they will be displayed on the PROTEUS display. Pressing the up arrow will simulate a product increase or delivery. The display will automatically switch to the delivery screen, and a D will appear next to the side of the tank. Once the high warning point is reached, the tank indicator will switch to high warning, and the status line changes to warning demo mode. The controller horn will not sound. The remote annunciator will not alarm for the warning unless an MCU XBRB8 XB4IO event was created for high warning alarms. Increasing the level further, it will reach the high product alarm point. The tank indicator will switch to high product and the status line changes to alarm demo mode. The controller horn will sound until the alarm acknowledge button is pressed. The system will alternately switch between the alarm message and alarm location. The remote annunciator will alarm. You can press the acknowledge test switch to silence the remote horn. The alarm light will remain lit. Pressing the alarm acknowledge button will switch to the current alarm screen and it shows the active alarm condition. This alarm will remain active as long as demo mode is enabled or the level is reduced below the alarm point. Press the Home and/or Menu buttons to get back to the System Status menu. Press the Inventory button and select the tank you were using for demo purposes. You can either perform other level tests or exit demo mode. Pressing the demo mode off button in the blue shaded area will exit demo mode. The little d, signifying delivery, will remain on the tank screen until the programmed dwell time is reached. Factory setting is 5 minutes. The tank indicator and status line will change back to normal as the volume returns to its actual level. To simulate sensor alarms, select the Demo Mode Sensor Alarm Test button. This button is used to turn on and off sensor demo mode. You will get directed to a modified View All Sensor screen, where all the installed sensors are displayed. You should see that the status line has changed to normal demo mode. In some versions of the PROTEUS firmware, there were 3 test buttons: Sensor Alarm Number 1, Sensor Alarm Number 2, and No Reply. The no reply was removed as timing issues made that test inconclusive. The sensor alarm number 1 and number 2 will invoke a test based on the type of sensor you are testing. An example, on a BXLS, both buttons will produce a liquid alarm. Product distinguishing sensors will produce a product or water alarm, and temperature sensors will produce high or low temp alarms. When the alarm is triggered, the system will alternately switch between the alarm message and alarm location. Unlike the level demo mode, sensor alarms do not remain active when the button is pressed. Therefore, if you have a remote annunciator, MCU, XBRB8, XB4IO event programmed, it will activate, but may clear itself before you could press the Acknowledge Test switch. The system will automatically reset itself after a few seconds, and the alarm will clear. If the Alarm Acknowledge button is pressed at this time, you will be directed to the active alarm screen, but the alarm data may have already reset. If the Alarm Acknowledge button is pressed before the alarm cleared message is displayed, the controller will switch to the active alarm screen showing the alarm information. Press the Home and/or Menu buttons to get back to the System Status menu. If you require additional sensor testing, press the Sensor Status button. Then, View All Sensors button. Repeat the test process as previously noted. If you are done testing, return to the Diagnostics screen and press the Sensor Alarm Test button to turn off demo mode. Selecting the OWS Level Adjust Mode button will bring you to the following page. The OWS, Oil Water Separator, is a new tank option to the PROTEUS controller. This page is more an adjustment tool rather than a diagnostic tool. Due to the complexity of the programming, it is hard to correctly display water and oil levels. This tool helps to visually adjust the display so the inventory levels are in line with actual water height. When the tank is filled with water, move the level height adjustment scroll bar with your fingertip to align the liquid level to the invert pipe. Press Save Height Offset to save settings and exit. Press the Menu button to return to the main menu. Sometimes the system boards need to be reset. If you do not have access to the circuit breaker, you can press the Restart the System button. This will perform the same function as a reboot. When troubleshooting a scheduled VLD test issue, you may need to run a manual test. Pressing Start a VLD test will bring you to the following page. Press Select Tank Number to view to toggle between available tanks to start a VLD test. Press the Start VLD Test button to begin the test. The test will wait the programmed dwell time, just as with a scheduled VLD test. The test results will be printed and recorded in the log for the tank selected. Pressing the Refresh Tank Order for New Boards button will reset the boards installed to the current slot number that it is in. This is used when replacing a board and it does not find its proper slot number. This function is only used on a PROTEUS X model. The Diagnostic Password keypad button is only used if instructed by OMTech technical support. Pressing the Restart the Display button will clear the currently stored system boards and re-find them. This is used when a controller is reporting more or incorrect system boards than are actually installed. Pressing on the Recalibrate the Display screen will bring you to the following page. A crosshair target will appear in 3 spots, one at a time. Upper left corner, lower right corner, and middle of the screen. Press the center of each crosshair target as they appear. Pressing on the Unit Type Settings button, BK or X, will bring you to the following page. Selecting the unit type will perform the following functions. It sets the unit type so that various screen functions will be enabled or disabled depending on the selection. An example, selecting B4 or B8 will remove the print button on the main system menu. Selecting B4 or K4 will set functions that are only required for an XB416 interface board. Selecting B8 or K8 will set functions that are only required for an XB800 interface board. Selecting the X will set functions related to multiple interface boards being installed. Note: remote display is a discontinued option. All of these buttons will set the correct part number displayed on the bottom of the help menu screen. This presentation will now continue with some troubleshooting items you may experience in the field. You can always contact Omtech's technical support for additional troubleshooting assistance not covered in this presentation. Note: alarm conditions could be caused by programming or controller issues, but these are the least likely to occur. The following items are most common alarms and possible causes. A system bus alarm indicates that the MCU lost connection with the other internal boards of the system. Common troubleshooting items include power cycling the system, reseating the silver RJ12 connection cables between each board, and resetting the display. A sensor bus alarm is where all the sensors programmed on the unit lose communication to the controller due to a short circuit. Additionally, all the installed sensors will also create a sensor no reply alarm. Most common causes are either faulty sensors or field wiring issues. Common troubleshooting items include isolating the sensor cables at the XB416 sensor connector or in junction boxes to determine which sensor or daisy chain path to follow. Suspect sensors can be checked by directly connecting to the controller. A no-reply alarm is where one or more sensors have lost communications to the controller due to an open circuit. Most common causes are either faulty sensors or field wiring issue. Common troubleshooting includes checking the sensor in question by directly connecting it to the controller. A timeout alarm is where one or more probes have lost communications to the controller. Most common causes include a faulty probe, field wiring issue, or float location, meaning the null spots of the probe. Common troubleshooting includes swapping probe input with a good probe to see if the problem follows the probe, checking the probe in question by directly connecting it to the controller, moving the floats to see if communications return. Let's look at troubleshooting printer issues. First, ensure the printer has power by verifying the power paper advance LED button is lit and is on steady. Check all cables connected between the printer and the MCU board. Verify the display status does not say normal paper out. A paper out notice will cause the power paper advance LED to blink, but because no alarm sounds, this condition may be overlooked. If paper advances but does not print anything on the paper, the pressure roller may not be pressing the paper against a thermal print head. As this is a thermal printer, verify the paper is installed correctly. If nothing prints and paper is not advanced, a print engine test can be performed. Power off the controller. Press and hold the power paper advance LED button so that you can see the LED when it lights. Power on the controller. When the LED blinks twice, release the power paper advance LED button. This is a built-in test of the printer and should print out a character pattern followed by the model and other printer-related information. Another reason the printer may not print is due to programming. The printer may be directed to a network printer. This can be verified in the printer settings in the setup menu. Lastly, the printer could be faulty. Replacement printers are available to order. Remote annunciator problems are most often wiring issues to either the MCU J9, XBRB8, or the XB4IO relay board connectors. The main cause is missing jumpers on the MCU J9 connector. The MCU, XBRB8, or XB4IO programming should be checked to ensure the correct relay functions are selected and the alarm event is being directed to the correct relay contacts. Verify the connections inside the annunciator housing and ensure it is not filled with water. Remote displays, such as the Mini-Me, RD7CTS, Delivery Defender, RD7CTS-DD, Mini-Me with printer option, RD7CTS-P, or the Delivery Defender Lite (DDL), the problems are most often wiring or communication issues. However, internal remote display problems are possible. These units can utilize either RS-232 or RS-485 communications. Ensure the correct setting, such as baud rate, data bits, parity, stop bits, and COM type are programmed. Some industry standard units could require a null modem. If this is the case, swapping the TX and RX signal connections are a good way to check communications. Another remote display is the RD625. The communication method is through the RS-485 port. As with other remote displays, ensure correct wiring connections are made and that the COM port settings have been programmed correctly. The digital meter is programmed to a specific tank, therefore the meter itself may be misprogrammed. Some models are equipped with remote annunciator functions and is connected to the MCU J9, XBRB8, or XB4 I/O connectors. MCU and relay programming should be verified. An important factor with any wireless communications is line of sight, distance, and environmental conditions. Verify wiring between the controller and the wireless receiver, as well as wiring of the data stick and filcheck masts to the probe or sensor. Checking data stick and filcheck transmissions through the diagnostic options can indicate signal problems. Battery power could be low, and installing new batteries could resolve issues. Commands can be issued through the test port of the XB416DC or XB800DC interface boards. Consult Omtech's technical support for the use of this option. This completes the system troubleshooting presentation.